Android Studio has some great tools that help you analyze your code and find coding problems or just suggestions for making your code better. To demonstrate this, I'll create a brand new Android Studio project, and I'm going to base this on the bottom navigation activity template. I'll call the project Bottom Nav and click Finish to create it. In order to analyze your code, the project has to be completely built and indexed, and the first time you create any project from a new template, it might take a few moments before this feature becomes available. But once Android Studio has settled, you can go to the menu and choose Analyze, Inspect Code. You can set the inspection scope to the entire project, just a module, to a particular file, or to a custom scope. I'll inspect my app module. I won't include my test sources, so I'm only looking at the application itself, and I'll click OK. Now, this inspection can take some time depending on the size and the complexity of the module. But this comes back pretty quickly because this is a pretty small module, and I see my list of inspection results displayed at the bottom of the screen. Under Android, I see that there's a lint section. Lint is the tool that inspects code, and there are categories for correctness, internationalization, performance, and security. Let's take a look at some of these. Under correctness, I see a message that there's a newer version of a dependency available. I'll double-click to jump to that code, and I see that highlighted in my code. If I move the cursor over it, I see that a newer version of JUnit is available. So now I'll use an intention action to fix it. I'll change it to the latest version, 4.13. Then I'll click Sync Now. Now, you may not see exactly the same errors depending on which version of Android Studio you're using. I'm using an early preview of Android Studio 4.0, but by the time you use the product, the issues I'm seeing might have been fixed. I'll go back to my inspection results, and I'll click on this one. This one is telling me I need to use another tag in my XML layout file. In this case, I sort of disagree, so I'm going to leave that as is, and instead, I'm going to suppress that message. Now, let's say I disagree with that, and I want to keep the code the way it is. I can go to that light bulb icon, pull down the menu, and choose the option to suppress the error. And now the next time I do the analysis, the error won't be shown. And that's because of this attribute that's added to my tag. I'll check my internationalization errors, and I'll see that I'm being told that I have some right-to-left text compatibility issues. And this has to do with my minimum SDK. Currently, my minimum SDK for this project is set to 16, but it's telling me if I want to do this, I'd be better off only supporting API 17 and later. So I can fix that by going to my Gradle scripts, to my build.gradle file for the app module, scrolling up to the top, and changing my minimum SDK version here. I'll resync, then I'll go back to that XML layout file, and the error goes away. Here are some performance issues. I'm being told that I have some unused resources, and that's because these are boilerplate resources that all of these templates have. If you don't need them, you might decide to delete them or just comment them out for now. It's not really a problem to have extra resources like this. They don't take much memory. But before you distribute your application to the public, it's a good idea to remove them. And finally, here's a really important one because it's in the security category. This particular warning is seen pretty much on every new project that's created from a template. It's telling me that if I want to allow a backup, it would be a good idea to create an XML file that describes what I want to have backed up. It's telling me that if I want to use the automatic backup capabilities of Android, I should create an XML file that describes what I want to have backed up. Alternatively, I could simply set Allow Backup to false, and then that error would go away the next time I analyze the code. You'll also see some spelling errors sometimes, and these are easy to fix by changing the base package or just saying, I know that's a spelling error, add it to my dictionary. And you can do that by using an intention action and saying, save this string to the project level dictionary. And now for everybody who uses this project, bottom nav is a legitimate word. The code analysis tools can help you find really interesting things in your code that either need to be fixed or could simply be improved.